Don't put your dreams to bed. You've done that enough. Now it's time to stir them up. This is your friend and host, Kirsty Fleur, with the Visionary Woman podcast, and I love resourcing the visionary woman, the creative, the artist, the business owner, the risk taker. And on this show, we will talk about what it means to get out of your own way and take your dreams to the next level. Join the conversation. Hi, this is Kirsty Fleur, and welcome to the Visionary Woman podcast. I'm excited you're here with us today. I am going to be introducing my new single, Home to You, with a great friend of mine, Isaac Gill.
What's up, everybody?
Isaac, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm just here because Kirsty invited me. I look up to her, trying to be more like her every day.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm really excited to be here with you. I'm friends with Kirsty, but also a huge fan of you and your work, your music, and we've been co-writing together the last couple years. But also, we did some recording last year, including the song Home. So we're really excited to be sharing that with you. And I think we're going to do a couple different things today with it.
We are, so stay tuned and get excited. So we're going to hop into the song. It's called Home. If you haven't picked it up yet on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you listen to your music at, be sure to go and grab that. But we'll jump right in.
Cool. Yeah, we're going to do an acoustic version of the song, which is going to be interesting. It'll be fun because the song normally has drums, bass, organ, keys, and all of that, but we're paring it down a little bit and making it into not smooth jazz, but somewhere around there.
Yeah, somewhere around there. It's going to be good though. Coming back to home. Coming back to home. It's where we belong. It's where we belong. I remember dinners on the table, hearing all the children playing. We laughed unapologetically. We fuss, we fight, we make up. Growing home never felt so far away. I lost my way home. Where is home? 'Cause no matter where I go, I'm always searching for you. Coming back to home. Coming back to home. Hey, back to home. It's where we belong. It's where we belong. We built a table, but now it's time to make this place our own. I'm dreaming of forever, but I don't wanna do this thing alone. Come and help me make this house a home. I need a shelter, a place for my soul. Where do we go? Oh, 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 where do we go? Oh, oh, oh. Protected, connected, known. Protected, connected, known. Protected, connected, known. Protected, connected, known. Protected, connected, and known. A place where I feel like I'm home. It's been way too long. Where is home? Where is home? Where is home? Where is home? Let's go on.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
I don't think we've actually done that before. We've played this song out live. We played it in Chicago. We've played it in Nashville. I've heard you play it with Mike Hicks, maybe, right? Doing like a little shout out to Mike Hicks.
Yep.
But that was fun doing that acoustic. We need to play that out more like that.
We do. I completely forgot we did this in Chicago. We did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tour. It's not a big deal.
A little bit.
So I know a little bit about Kirsty's musical history and her musical interests, and I thought it'd be fun to jump on the podcast today.
As the visionary woman that he is.
The visionary woman that I am, trying to keep up. But I thought it'd be fun to jump on and, interview you, because I know you interview people, and then you also probably are talking about passion subjects, but there's probably not too many opportunities for someone to come in and talk to you about your music. So I was like talking to Tammy, who's a project manager with Freedom Floor, and I was like, I think it'd be really fun to collaborate on this. So we did a recording last fall with 318 Collective, 318 Collective Music specifically. And that's, if you don't know what that is Kirsty and Chauncey's, one of their many passion projects, but it takes a role of connecting artists and people in the community together to not only talk about real and important issues, but to make music and to engage not only the direct community, but society as a whole on these issues and matters that are important to us, and with a faith-based lens, some of it, but also open to anybody.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We did a songwriting retreat last year, and we set some boundaries. We set some stipulations of we are going to write songs and then record them all in the same couple days.
Because we're crazy. That's why we did that. We're crazy. But it turned out amazing.
So I thought it'd be fun for first just to before we even get into the song Home, because that was a little backstory, but before we get into that, what are some of your musical influences, and what did you listen to growing up? What would have been playing in the household? I know that Kirsty is a big fan of Yebba, PJ Morton, Adele, and you probably hopefully heard some of that in this, but what was playing at home?
Yeah,
of course.
Okay, so of course I grew up in a super, I guess you could say, religious household, mom, a pastor, all the things. So what I was sneaking and listening to is completely different from what I was allowed to be listening to.
Yes.
So what I was sneaking and listening to was Brandy and Monica and, oh my gosh, Aretha Franklin.
You had to sneak Aretha?
Everything.
Oh.
All the things. But we used to listen to some of the stuff. I don't know. That's a whole different topic right there. I think we went through a season where it was like, okay, we can't listen to this music at home. It's kind of where my mom was, but.
And there's no shade on this, because I also grew up similarly. I grew up in a religious household where I was sneaking into MTV and VH1. Sorry, Mom, if you're watching this.
You weren't watching MTV at midnight, were you?
No.
Because it was a whole different situation going on.
Never. I never watched Daria or whatever that was.
No, I definitely watched Daria. Okay, she was so emotive, and I was like, I feel her, I get her. We're connected. Anyway. But yeah, so Aretha, gosh, off the top of my head, Marvin Gaye, Gladys Knight and the Pips, all of those soul genre songs and stuff like that is what I was listening to. But also we were listening to contemporary Christian music, so my mom had all the slow worship music happening or whatever.
Yeah, drop some names there. Give us some names.
I forgot all those.
Listening to CeCe Winans at all?
Definitely CeCe Winans. CeCe is the GOAT.
Is it Smokey Norfolk?
Smokey, gosh, who else? Take Six. You remember them?
Yes. What about Back to Eden? Did you ever get into them?
I don't remember them.
Come on.
Back to Eden.
Tammy knows.
Back to Eden. Okay, help me think of a song. Back to Eden.
I on the spot, I won't be able to think of it, but I'll think of it as soon as I get in my car later.
I bet if I had a little taste of what the song was, I would know it. But yeah, definitely those artists. Gosh, who else? I wasn't really into rap. I was really just into slow, smooth R&B, jazz, again, neo soul, so music soul child.
Yes.
Yeah, stuff like that. I'm trying to think of who else. gosh, off the top of my head. Oh, yeah, and I was listening to a lot of calypso and stuff like that, too. I don't know if you know what calypso music is, and reggae, so I was Marvin Gaye and calypso, all that stuff.
Because you're not from Louisiana or anything like that.
Right, you know,
Yeah.
when you're from Louisiana, you got to listen to it all, because are you even real, you know?
So I'm curious, with all that musical influence, like how did your voice evolve? Like when did you discover the voice that we just heard today, that we hear on the song Home? Like, was there a moment where you, like, this is my voice, this is where I've landed, or was it a long evolution of how that developed?
Yeah, absolutely. That is a great question, because there definitely was like what I always call like a tipping point or a breaking moment where there was a shift in my sound, and me going back to home internally, like, you know, what are my influences? What do I connect with on a soul level? And so that changed me deeply. I say that probably happened starting around like 2016.
Okay.
And I just started feeling like a new type or style of song start emerging when I was songwriting and stuff. But before that, it was all me pushed into like this little box and trying to sing like the CCs, no shade or anything like that, but trying to sing like, you know, what CCM has taught us to sing, like, you know, when you're like in a certain Christian space or whatever. So as I got older, and then I would do worship music or be on, you know, teams being, you know, a worship leader, I would be asked like, hey, could you sing with no vibrato? Could you keep it as straight as possible? And honestly, I think the reason why is because that is what was marketable. Like that is what everybody wants. I think people get somebody who works, like they step out and they're like, this is my brand of artistry, this is what I do. And then after that, they kind of set the tone, like this is what the measuring stick is now. And so then the industry comes in and they're like, everybody needs to sound like this because this is what the craze is and this is what everybody is doing. And so of course churches and community groups and stuff I'm a part of, they're like, sing like this, sing very straight, do this song like this, or you don't really get to lead or sing. And so as an artist, you want to lead, you want to sing, you know, you want to express your gift, you know, naturally. So that's what I did for a long time. And you can actually hear the evolution of my music. If you go back and listen to the music I released in 2016, it's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's very peaceful. It's very, you know, it's very straight.
Is it kind of, was it like prayer room, like worship music?
Absolutely. I mean, some of those songs are like 8 minutes long. So.
Yeah. For context, for people who aren't familiar with like specifically, because you're like prayer room, I can kind of picture like a small room where people pray, but prayer room music would be kind of in this vein of like long extended sets of music where people are worshiping and they might be praying intermittently. And so the music is very actually free form and free flow and ends up being very chill. Like, so that probably fit into your already very chill background. But at a certain point you kind of like were evolving even into getting into more like singer-songwriter type stuff too. And maybe not 8 and 12-minute songs, but
absolutely. Because I start, you know, once you learn a little bit about the industry, you're like, okay, people stop listening at about this point.
About
and
3 minutes and 33 seconds.
You went over that about, you know, maybe 7 minutes. You know?
Well, there's a place for it, right?
There is a place for it. So there's totally a place for that. It's needed.
Right.
I mean, even if you look now, people are like, what are they playing? Like lo-fi, or they're playing instrumental music or whatever to just, you know, get that peace or that sense of calm, that sense of serenity. So there is place for it. Yeah, so there was this moment, this distinct moment, probably around like 2018 or 2019, where these songs were coming up about justice that I was writing. Silence was one of those songs. You can go back and listen to that song.
It's a good song.
But even in that song, you can hear me wrestling with like, should I be saying these things? Should I be talking about these hard topics? Should I be saying religious pundits? Should I be calling out the church? Should I be, you know,
where did that hesitation in you come from, where you felt like you
religion? From my background, from religion, honestly. It came from like people saying, don't say this, don't do this, you need to protect the church, you need to protect the organizations, all this stuff. But internally, I felt like, well, it doesn't matter if the organization or whatever it is, doesn't matter if it is treating people this way or people are being abused or used. I don't care who they are, church or not, they need to be called out and they need to be held accountable for the things that they're doing wrong. And there's no way, I feel like there's no way that you can, you know, hope for reconciliation or hope for a better world if you don't take ownership for the things that you're doing wrong. Right. So a lot of times, because I am an artist and everything else that I do is undergirded by the arts, I feel like I'm able to use music and artistic activism to be able to like speak into like hard issues, because music touches people in a way that many things doesn't. So don't.
Totally. So like music is obviously an avenue for talking about these things. Was it first just kind of an outlet for you to get out those emotions, where like, I don't know how to reconcile my faith with what I'm being told, with what I see in the news, or what's happening to me in these spaces? Was music like ever just like a place for you to vent, or was it immediately like, no, I'm going to take it to the streets and like, this is a protest song that I'm going to...
No, it's crazy is I never looked at some of these songs that I've written, like Silence and Reform. I've never looked at them like protest songs. Honestly, both of them started as, well, one of them for sure, Silence started as a poem. And after I went to this big concert thing, I just laid down in the bed and I penned it, just in one sitting like that. And then I showed it to my husband. He's like, what the heck? This is a song. And I'm like, okay. But
Shout out to Chauncey Horton.
Shout out to Chauncey.
We love you.
But I never penned it like, I don't think I was self-aware enough to understand that, what my soul was saying is like, hey, speak into issues that are happening right now. So honestly, it's been a journey in like self-awareness too. I'm like, okay, these songs are coming up, and I say that a lot, oh, something is coming up, Well, what's coming up is clearly what I'm experiencing externally, and the soul inside of me is like, something needs to be done or something needs to be said about it. And then the avenue with which I do it is going to be through music, because that is, my creative outlet, the one I'm most skilled in, I would say. So, as an artist, I'm going to lean towards music, or I'm going to lean towards fashion design or something like that, because I use it, as a form of justice as well for women and all those things. So, yeah, I didn't necessarily in the beginning look at it as protest, but then when it came out, I was like, okay, these are protest songs, all right.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not necessarily like it's like a marching protest song. Like maybe some people hear that and they think of that as like a specific context for like the civil rights movement, but they are protest in that they are counterculture.
Disruptive.
Yeah, they're disruptive and in a good way, but having an insider glimpse, like I remember when we were working on the song Reform, it came up because Kirsty sent me just a voice memo that was just the just your voice. Yeah. No instruments. I don't know if you were in a bathroom, but it was kind of
I was in Chattanooga. I remember it to this day. I was in Chattanooga at the Reed House Hotel, and then I walked into our hotel room as we just checked in, and then I heard, said you gotta reform, and I was like, I'll be right back. Chauncey and Knox, I'm just gonna run to the bathroom and record this in my phone real quick. And so I just made a little voice note, recorded myself singing, and I'm like, I wonder where that's coming from. But and then I sent it to Isaac. I'm like, hey, I want to do something with this.
Yeah. And then we got together with Maddie Thompson, and then we hashed it out and gave it like more music and some more elements to it. But that song is like, it's very visceral. Like it punches you in the gut in a good way.
Yeah.
Like it like a good protest song does. But what I heard, because in our co-writing sessions, it was like you also processing like, religious community hurts that you and Chauncey had walked through, and your journey with 318 Collective, and hearing all of that in that song, like to me, it's like textbook example of how a good song, oftentimes, not always, sometimes it's, commercial songs come from, just like, let's write a song that sounds great.
Yeah.
But I think the songs that really move the needle and like move people's hearts, it's because it hits the writer first.
Yeah.
Like, and it came from a real place for you. It wasn't just like, I want to be edgy, or I want to be trendy, or I want to it was like, no, this is something I really walked through, something that really hurt, something that we really survived and learning to overcome, and so that's I don't know, a cool thing about songwriting, I think.
Yeah, I think that's that's a really good point to make right there. Like for me, I was talking to a friend a couple of days ago, and I was like, I really have a hard time writing songs that aren't authentic, that don't come from a place It's not that they're fake, because I can pull from anywhere. Like if we sit down and say, hey, we're going to write a song about love and heartbreak and being cheated on. Well, great. I have some of those experiences from past relationships, so I can pull from that. It's kind of like I have a friend here who was saying, as an actor, you're not pretending when you pull these emotions up, you're pulling from somewhere. So right. I can write a song about anything, but it has to come from a felt or an authentic place, So that's important to me.
It's awesome. So fast forwarding to today, we have this song, Home. Obviously, we just did like an acoustic version of it.
Right.
But I think it would be fun for people to hear the actual like recording of it if you haven't heard it yet. Of course, it's on all streaming platforms. Mm-hmm. It's everywhere. Home, 318 Collective Music, or Kirsty Fleur. Looking up her name, you'll find it. But before we listen to it, tell us just a little bit about, we talked about how we wrote that song. You and Michael and another songwriter wrote that song in one session, but and then we recorded it like the next day. Mm-hmm. But tell them a little bit more about like what went into it, because I think you like pulled an all-nighter like working on it.
Absolutely. So, when we first started, of course the room is set up like there's 3 writers. Was it 3 writers in your room too?
Yeah, I think so.
3 writers in each room or whatever, and it was me, a guy named Michael, and a guy named Darnell. So we're in the room and we're like, okay, so what are we writing? Where are we going? And I immediately said, I cannot write a song that is not authentic. I got to come from what is a lived experience, what is currently happening or what's going on. What are you guys feeling? What are you walking through? So I'm like, what wants to be written? Mm-hmm. What's the song that needs to be written right now? Not like, let's just do something cool and creative, like you said, which that's fun too, but what song right now could move society forward? What song could move us forward? What needs to be written? And so as we started talking, I was like, man, there's this sense of like home. Like what was your home life like? So pull out the computer and we started talking. And then we realized that all of our home lives were completely different. For them, for one of the writers, their home life was like, it's a picture perfect scene. It's like what you want to see your family life be like. They were close, the dinners together and watching football together as a family. I did not relate with anything they were saying. I was like, wow, that is magical. It sounded like Disney, and it was great. And I was like, how do we merge these together? Because my story was one of like, okay, for me, home, when I think about home, I have 2 different sentiments. I have fragmentation of a broken family, broken home, broken Black community, and all of these things that need to be repaired from like generations before, that I feel like me now in the present, my family now in the present is breaking these things and leaning into something new so that my family can have something different. And then the other side of me that's like, here's the bits and pieces of what was beautiful, like dinners at the table, these different things that I'm trying to pull together. So anyway, we're sitting there, we write all these things out. And, I think we just had like the beginning, like, I remember dinners on the table, like that little piece. And a few other like random scratch notes or whatever at the bottom. We're trying to put a verse and a chorus together. And then our time ended and we're like, okay, what now? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to finish this song. Because at that point I felt like, I'm committed to it now. I'm in this song and I've got to finish it. So I pulled an all-nighter. I was up till probably, I forgot what time the camp ended, but I was probably up till like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning until I felt like I had some solid bones for a song. And
we were like back together like at 8 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. We were back together. I'm like, man, I'm exhausted. But I sent the little scratch of what I was working on to the other writers in the room. And I'm like, let's do it. Let's massage this and put it together. And so this is what we ended up with from that.
Yeah, that's super cool. And Michael Walter is on the keys on this, and he is phenomenal.
Always.
I can't hold a candle with my little guitar picking to what he's doing with on the keys there, but you'll get to hear that. We brought in a really great bassist, Neil, and Brandon on drums, and I got to play guitar, and Michael joined you on some BGVs. We did another session where we did some overdubs, and but what you will hear is pretty much like all, maybe 1 or 2 takes. We did the song, recorded live all together at the same time in the studio. So let's give it a listen.
Yeah,
and do a little reaction afterwards, talk about it.
Thanks for listening and joining the conversation today here on the Visionary Woman Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to join our growing community, the FF Social Club, Please comment, like, and subscribe so that you can be updated on our upcoming episodes and more happening over at freedomfloor.com. To catch the latest from me and to access amazing resources for visionaries just like yourself, please visit me on the web at www.kirstyfluor.com. Thanks again for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time. Until then, don't forget to be visionary.